All right, everyone. I'm here, Johnny here, intact. How are you doing?
Pretty good, man.
Awesome, awesome. I am proud to be casting for the first time with the Pope of the Church of PP God.
Right back at you, man.
Yeah, I'm
Hope he's
excited
blessing
for
us today.
Yeah. Let's work on this one here. We're already seeing a ban. TF, I think they mentioned it. I can't remember if it was pre-show or during during now. If they actually mentioned they need to get rid of the TF, they are doing that. Lucian also being getting rid of right now by scaling.
So I'm pretty sure the mid laner for them is actually quite the TF player himself, and they're with the Nunu as well. There's two champions that they play very frequently in solo queue.
There's also, like, I know Alex already playing a lot of the Pike lately. Potentially going to see if that draws a ban. They're actually going to get rid of the Morgana instead. Does casually reformed, and Graves will be banned out by scaling, and that'll round out our first round of bans.
Doesn't look to be a whole lot of consistency here with the bans. Although the Shen first picked here.
Mm-hmm.
Looks
Yeah,
like they're going to be.
yeah, exactly. It looks like we're going to basically see probably some team fight action, which we normally see from casually reformed. So I'm not super surprised by a Shen first pick there. Just allows you to get to any lane whenever you potentially need it. And then scaling on the other side, they will pick Set and Sejuani, putting together a good team fight for themselves as well.
All right, and the Shen also allows them, hopefully the casually reformed will look to pick a more proactive jungler. They can look to set up some sort of dives or plays with the Shen after level 6 here with the jungler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Like, scaling is just living up to their name right now. Right now, they're sitting there with what they've picked. They believe they're going to scale beyond what casually reformed is going to do. So yeah, let's see how it's responded with. Generally speaking, if you can go underneath, it can be really good. But then they pick Hecarim, who's one of the best scaling jugglers there is. So that'll be interesting to see where that kind of happens.
Well, this definitely still can work. Your Hecarim diving with his ultimate alongside the Shen. They can look to set up definitely turret dives on the bot side.
Yeah, that's always terrifying when you're just got to keep track of that cooldown for Shen. Then you have someone who's going to dive you as hard as you mentioned over there in the jungle. Or potentially it's a flex pick. Both those could be flexed to each other apparently these days, so we'll see what happens there. But
that TSM
Thresh there.
series.
Yeah, exactly. Thresh being their last little support pick here. We're sitting now to see what they're going to grab over here. They're going to pick up the Galio, giving themselves a nice little, at least semi-goalable.
And yeah, they ban out the TF and then scaling go right and just secure the Galio for themselves. Still looking to get that global map pressure out.
Yeah, exactly. You see a lot of priority on the mid lane for scaling to basically help out their other lanes. You saw a lot of that obviously with like Cloud9 kind of happening, and it's a pretty popular play style kind of around the world. So it's kind of cool to see that kind of happening in our level here. These are plat-ish players here over on scaling, so it isn't obviously quite what we're going to be potentially watching at Worlds coming up, but it's cool to see people trying those kind of things in amateur play too, because it's kind of how you learn how to get better as a team as opposed to just being good solo queue stars.
Definitely. And also to note, they immediately banned the Silas out as well, making sure they can't, again, answer the global. They're looking to take this Galio and maybe hover towards the bot side to deny these plays with the Hecarim Shen.
Also, Silas stealing any of those alts on the other team would be pretty scary. Like, you don't necessarily want to deal with that, even though the alt cooldown was shortened to note to like 40 seconds, which I think is at the third level. So I think that's potentially super scary when someone could be throwing in their own Galio every 40 seconds or Sejuani ult every 40 seconds. It's that's without cooldown reduction too. So that'll be interesting. Rakan actually being picked over right now for scaling, and they're potentially curious if they'll pair that with the Xayah after.
Or maybe, casually from will not take the Xayah, where they're going to actually go for the Vayne instead here. Interesting choice, because I'm not sure how they're going to look for these proactive plays in the bot side. I don't think they're going to be able to push in really with the Vayne now.
Yes, that makes that part awkward when you want to go for that dive, but they're actual, again, if you just like kind of stare past the laning phase, right now, Vayne just received a fairly good amount of puffs that make Vayne right up there once again with one of the best team fight AD carries. If you kind of have that skill, we've seen Wheelie kind of pull it off. So that'll be looking forward to that. This entire matchup been looking forward. Ooh, the Zir, they're gonna pick their own scaling there. So they said
gonna go for scaling.
Yeah, last time we were just talking about how maybe they would try to go underneath, but instead they're trying to just outscale the scaling team that literally are telling you what they're trying to do with their name. And they got some good members on their team to do that.
And looking at the actual scaling right now, so far their comp has a lot of CC, has a lot of tankiness, but it doesn't look to have a whole lot of damage agency in the late game here.
Yeah, it's definitely a mid spiky team. So like they bamboozled us pretty much with what they end up picking here. Yeah, they do go with the Xayah Rakan combination, which does have some decent late game damage, but really it's just like that mid game spike that kind of comes out of Xayah is gonna be the one to watch throughout this whole thing. Same with Set. Set still spikes really well through the mid game.
You know, wonder how good Xayah is going to be in this game because Xayah's ulti is great at negating, you know, the dive, the burst damage that comes towards her, right? But looking at Casually Reformed's team comp here, you see the Vayne, you see the Azir. Even if you do ulti, as soon as you come back down, they're still going to have their damage up. It's not like it's just going to go away.
Exactly. So that'll be potentially interesting what they want to do. They might be able to, again, get rid of kind of the initial engage. That's probably going to happen, but Vayne and Azir will just keep running at you.
It is interesting though that they do choose to draft 2 lanes, which actually 3 lanes if you think about it, with the Shen topside that don't have prio in the early game, especially against someone like a Sejuani, who usually you could maybe abuse with some invades with a slow clear. They instead opt to turtle in.
Yeah, we'll see where that goes. We're going to throw it back to the analyst desk, and we'll be back for when the game goes live. But let's get it to the Red Bull analyst desk and see what they think of the draft.
Thank you, Johnny, and Intact. Glad to see the two of you casting together finally. Going to be a really exciting game. And Stefano and Kang, what are you thinking? What are you making of this matchup? How are you feeling about your 2-point wagers right now?
Very poorly, if I'm being
feeling
honest.
pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this one.
You like the CR comp?
I don't love it, but I like it.
Right.
I don't like it either, but I definitely hate the scaling comp. Xayah
Rakan isn't good enough there for you?
I don't mind Xayah Rakan. I think they have an interesting team. You know, they will be able to spike mid game very hard, but often to do that you do need some sort of lead. So it's good that they do have dominant laders like Set and like Xayah Rakan.
Yes.
But I really hate the Sejuani jungle. My best guess is that Sejuani is kind of just a stand-in for the Galio, the person that Galio has to click R on. Although I much rather would have preferred something like a Jarvan. Scaling's comp seems kind of scattered in what it wants to do, and more importantly, it has almost no damage. If your only damage is Xayah and game goes past like 30 minutes, you're losing this game for sure. So it's going to be really on scaling that they have to either get a huge lead, and keep CR in their base, or they're going to have to win by 30 minutes.
Yeah, a lot of pressure put onto Leggy here. Kang, any final thoughts before we quickly go to a break on either of these compositions?
Yeah, well, I think for Casually Reformed's comp, I think I have similar criticisms for their own comp. I think that they're a little bit scattered in what they want to do. Azir and Vayne, excellent kiters. They want the other team to come into them. But then on the other hand, you have the Shen, who can peel, by the way. But I'm thinking that Casually Reformed want to pair the Shen with the Hecarim. Hecarim dives into the backline. They get the Shen taunt off, which, if you're using the Shen ult on Hecarim when he dives, you no longer have a Shen ult to peel for your backline when the Set, when the Sejuani, when the Rakan, when the Galio dive, go all in. You just don't have that anymore. And so I think, like, it's not terrible. They do have a good draft. I think their draft is somewhat better than Scaling's comp, but I do have my little quips about how they play around their team comp.
All right. Well, definitely the bot lane players getting a lot of pressure in this particular matchup. We are going to go to a quick break for competitive integrity, and we're going to be back with Intact and Johnny casting game 1 of Scaling versus Casually Reformed. We'll see you in a few minutes.
All right, everyone, we're here on the Rift. 2 teams going head-to-head. Casually Reformed versus the Scaling team over on the red side. All right, Intact. This is going to be an interesting game. We're a little bit. Yeah, we're a little bit talking about off the air. Nameplates off, you probably just give this one casually or reform. But I was saying, like, I just have a little bit of experience with this scaling team, at least a few members on the scaling team, and they're a strong team, and I fully expect them. In fact, they're 5-stacking right now over here by the pixel bush. We'll see if anything spicy happens there.
So you're predicting just basically off of skill, and they don't even need the damage. Just with the Zaya alone, they can probably win this one.
I honestly think they could. And I expect them to focus on their bot lane. Their bot lane is really a couple of their stars on this team. Like, and I know you, as a guy who appreciaes People God, appreciates star carry support performances. You get that out of Alex Dirty. The playmaking that comes out of this player is huge. So I fully expect them to just like 4-man dive bot and make things happen, or at least counter gank anything kind of going on in bot, and make sure that this Zaya becomes online, because if it doesn't get online early, it does get pretty hard for them in this game. So, but I think they know that.
But interestingly, with the comp that they've drafted, probably one of the best things they could do right now with the Shen global on the other side. Obviously, when you do have a global like Shen, you want to target the global itself. And with the set, Sejuani and Galio, they're perfectly set up to actually just be diving this Shen instead. So they're going to have to choose whether or not to target the global and neutralize it, or to gank their bot lane instead.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see exactly where they kind of put on for that.
Looking to get off to a pretty normal start here. Hecarim starting on the blue side, and Sejuani also starting on her blue side. Looks like they're going to be swapping sides of the map after their first bit of the clear here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just going to that, we see a little bit of a trade kind of going on here in towards the bot lane. They're trying to work on that a little bit here. Yeah, there we go. There's the playmaking of Alex Dirty, wanting to get it on early. He's going to be able to get that one. A little bit of a level 1 fight. Does get Thresh pretty low, so that gives them a little bit of advantage here if they can potentially get to this level 2 a little bit faster, and then potentially go for a cheater back, or potentially for an all-in if they see an angle right now. But they are backing off right now, the bot lane of Casually Reformed, recognizing they're not going to have that level 2 and do not want to risk that between Zaya and Rakan.
But at the same time, I imagine the jungler for them here, the Hecarim, is predicting that the bot lane is going to be pushed in early, so he's started on his blue side, is padding down towards the bot side, while Sejuani isn't. So interestingly, you see that they're pushing up. You wonder maybe they're going to get ganked without the possibility of a counter gank.
Puke Lord jumping in towards the bottom lane here. Doesn't quite get a whole lot done. But Coop, meanwhile, is in the top lane. 1v1ing with no idea. Quinn is there to help them out, and will at least force them to back off for now. And we're looking okay here for both teams, but got some people low, but no deaths quite yet.
Yep. Looks like, again, that they're looking to push all 3 lanes right now. Just continuously getting the pressure all over.
I'm gonna I'm having a little technical difficulties on my side. I'm gonna have you just call for a little bit by yourself for 2 seconds while I sort that out. I'm sorry. Oh no, yeah.
Oh well, sorry guys. There's a bit of technical difficulty in the background here. That's why it's a little bit awkward to start out.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep talking then. How's your day going?
I've hopped in, and I'm gonna try streaming it on my Discord since I'm in the server as well. See if you guys can watch mine, and if that.
Okay, it looks good here.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Be in here.
All right, we're here. We're gonna, yeah. Okay, I'm here. Okay, things look okay. We're 5 minutes into the game. I hope that's where we are in the stream, and hopefully that's all in sync. If not, please let us know, chat. Sorry for the scuffness, but we're back. No one's died yet, so at least they were kind enough to not give us any action while we were trying to sort out some technical stuff.
Well, Casually Reformed hoping right now that they don't die. They're just looking to scale this one out.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's nice stuff here. Well, one thing I we'll do, we didn't get the chance to do player introductions because we were experiencing technical difficulties, but we're back. So let me introduce our blue team over here on Casually Reformed. We have No Idea in the top lane, Jade in the jungle. At mid lane, we have Royal, and your bot lane is featuring Wheelie29, supported by Sean.
And on the red side here, you have Scaling with the Coop on the top side, Quinn in the jungle, the Puke Lord in the mid lane, Leggy in the bot lane, and Alex Dirty supporting him on the Rakan.
Yeah, that is good introductions. We got a top lane gank coming over here. Quinn wants a piece of No Idea. He's going to try to flash away. Will not be able to get that down. First blood will belong to Scaling.
And there's the power of the Sejuani right there. The melee top laner in the set can get those passive procs off before the Sejuani even comes in. So all she has to do is just charge in, land 1 auto attack, and boom, the Shen is stunned and he is taken down right away.
There we go. Easy stuff. Good work put together to get that going right away.
And
so, yeah.
nice.
yeah, sorry, with that, sorry to cut you off, but basically, I just want to say this is the start that they needed. You knew that like they're kind of like we were talking about in the draft. This is a bit of a mid-game scaling, or sorry, mid-game focused team right now for scaling, which is really awkward sentence to say. But they are certainly trying their best to make sure they have that going.
And interestingly enough, in the bot side here, you see Leggy not confident with Alex 30, not confident in winning this lane out. Goes for the Cole, and they're playing pretty defensively.
All right,
And
sorry,
you see exactly why right there. Sean lands the hook. They're going in. Casually reformed. They go for the all-in play, but they end up losing the trade.
Yeah, they're able to get that. Sorry, folks. Do realize we are ahead of the stream right now, and once again trying to sort that out.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, guys.
I'm actually just. I've been watching so much TSM and Zillion that I learned how to time travel. Anyway, we'll try to get that resynced up if we can possibly can.
Take a little break, and then I will.
So instead of the game,
try to
how
get
about we
it
talk
synced
about
up.
Worlds then?
Yeah.
What are your predictions for Worlds, Johnny?
Top Esports gonna win it all, baby.
what about JDG, man?
They'd be good. I actually, I don't know if you saw. I actually decided what's gonna happen is DRX are gonna beat Top Esports in groups, but they'll finish 1 and 2, and then they're gonna rematch in the final. So that's what I said.
DRX.
Yeah, Dragon, because I want Chovy versus Knight to be
But you have to
everything
imagine
this Worlds to remember.
They have Sword Junior on their team.
True.
Do you really think they could make it to finals with Doran?
If I were to actually bet on it, no.
To be honest here, I'm thinking Solo. If Solo might be able to beat Doran.
I don't know about that one.
I think maybe.
Maybe. I don't know how we are doing for basically resyncing our stream here, but
yeah, might have to just take a quick break while we figure this.
Yeah,
out.
let's
I'm
do
not
that.
Exactly sure, but the game is going to keep going, and we are going to basically be watching it. Okay, so go back to Kieran's stream and see if you can get that one going.
See if it
And
looking good.
He says
it looks better.
Just changed it. So if that that's doable.
It's inconsistent.
Worse for
No,
me.
it's worse. Never mind.
Uh-oh. Hang on a
I
sec.
can count the pixels on the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll keep going. Thanks for bearing with us, everybody.
It looks okay now.
Oh,
I don't know.
it. There's a flip coming in. He's gonna
cool.
kill no idea.
All right, awesome. We at least got to see that. Like, maybe I'm going to cast this right now. Quinn is playing over here. He does get some help from the Puke Lord. He's going to take one down. They look for the next target. Double kill will come for Quinn. And that's 3 members down on Casually Formed as Scaling has now got themselves a nice lead.
All right, I'm going to leave you guys with this. We will, hopefully this will do. Thanks for everyone for bearing with us. Thanks, guys, for being professional about it. And take it away.
All right, I'm very professional.
Nice. You see Scaling doing exactly what you wanted them to do. They picked this Shen because they want to make plays on the rest of the map, and you just deny the usage of the Shen ulti by just killing him twice. The Shen's already 0-2.
That's one way to do it. Just keep killing him, and then his shield actually will just add more kills to your team if he comes in and it's a bad situation. So things we missed. We did miss the first dragon also being taken up. That will be a Cloud Dragon for for Scaling as well. And right now, Casually Reformed are just behind the 8 ball.
And yeah, you can especially see Scaling's game plan coming through when, again, the Cole on the Xayah, they're obviously leaving Leggy to play himself out in the bot lane. You know, they're not exactly going to give too much attention to him. So I imagine they are going to keep diving this Shen continuously over and over for the next few minutes here.
And that's, like you said, just one way to attack that. I said that maybe they need to put some bot focus on it, but if you actually do the opposite of what I said, and what you said they should do, and they are doing, is they focus onto that top lane so it can't have an impact on the rest of the lanes, and you're just confident enough in the 2v2 with Leggy and Alex 30 to be able to handle Wheelie 29 and Sean, and that's exactly what's happening. Like you said, they got the call over there, so you know they're just gonna be able to sell that. It's basically a free item on them, and they're doing real good job across the board right now for Scaling.
And the only problem with that is their draft. You know, they have the Set, Sejuani, and Galio. Who is getting all the kills is the Sejuani.
It is the Sejuani. Sejuani looks to be a very, very tanky person riding a 4, and they get another kill. 4-0. That's who you want all the gold on, not usually, but you take those, I
no
suppose.
matter who gets the gold for the side of scaling here, it's gonna be a little bit questionable at some points. So you just kind of gotta roll with it. Get the
Yeah.
Sejuani fed.
Yeah, but if you are going to look at, of course, towards the other side, Casually Reform right now, they're sitting there, got a Vayne sitting there at 83 CS at 10 minutes. That ain't bad. 8 CS per minute, just going to keep going up, and Vayne's almost going to be able to finish that Blade of the Rune King potentially for their next back. So they could potentially fight for this dragon coming up right now. They do have a decent amount of priority in towards the bot lane. They're trying to clear the rest of it, and they are invading into the enemy jungler, so they got a game plan over here, so they can do something.
Actually, looking at this, with the Thresh and the Hecarim on the behind part of the jungle here, maybe you're thinking they're going to try to let scaling push up. Maybe try to get this Shen into the bot side with the play. But no, Hecarim's actually moving towards mid lane here.
Yeah, Royal ulting away Quinn there. Not wanting to give them the 5th kill of the game for them, but will be able to back off here and go back towards their lane as we again are just waiting for kind of them to move up to this
how
drag.
hesitant Casually Reformed is being. The Shen is just being completely denied here. At this point, you're not even sure if he can lane. You might as well just look for something bot side. Look to make a play with the Shen. Don't keep him in the lane. But Casually Reformed, they're handshaking this. They're not making any proactive plays here, and it's baffling.
Yeah, and again, it might be just because they just are pretty confident in where their team's just going to end up in the late game anyway. But like we said, if you get the Shen so far behind that they're just completely irrelevant, it's really hard to play Shen from behind. Like that is always the criticism of the champion. That's why it's not like a big LPL kind of type of champion and more like kind of an LCS style that does go slower. But we are seeing it all in kind of happen over here. People will just come down towards the bot lane. Sean is going to get knocked up, and Leggy will pick up their first kill of the game.
Yep, and there's the strength of the Galio right here. You get your top ahead, you get your jungle ahead. Now it's time to move to the bot side. Get all 3 lanes ahead. Don't give them any avenue to come back in this game.
And this is why I love watching Puke Lord play this game. Just plays for their other lanes, plays a perfect team game. Again, snowballing top side, snowballing bottom side. Everyone's getting fed, and Puke Lord's happy with 3 assists.
Yep, and looking at this one here, Dragon's about to come up, and you see Casually Reform looking maybe to make a play here. Hecarim behind, but no, he backs out again. They're just not looking for these plays.
And I was talking off air a little bit before how I was talking about, like, yeah, even just on paper, you're looking at a bunch of plat players, but they're also a team that just plays well together. You can see their synergy. Like, look at this fight they're willing to take over here. They're all here on time for this dragon. They do have Puke Lord coming in just from behind for if a re-engage happens. They have pure position here. They have the vision here. This is just a great setup for this dragon.
Yep, and the Shen TP won't even be able to change the fight because the Coop still has his TP up there as well.
Yeah. And they're just exactly going to be able to take this dragon basically without contention here. That's number 2 for them. Wonder what the soul's going to be. Infernal Drake. It'll be Infernal Soul, rather. So we'll see who puts more priority towards that one. And meanwhile, Puke Lord is going to get taunt up onto Royal, who's going to try to run away over here. Does not have flash available. Just barely misses that ultimate, so it'll be enough. But to really get themselves in trouble? No, they're going to be able to get out of there. So just narrowly kind of escaping that.
Behind, maybe? They still have Shen ulti. They might look for a play here.
Oh, Sean hitting that death stance, trying to put something onto over here. Going to the Puke Lord, but getting taunted up right now is Wheelie. They got themselves in a little bit of trouble, but will Puke Lord go down first? They will. Wheelie's going to be able to pick up that one, get themselves their first kill of the game. Quinn now trying to run away. The man with 4 kills. That's a big shutdown they could potentially get, but Alex 30 and Leggy are right here. Alex 30 will get hooked. Another beautiful death stance and starts to run up. Alex 30 tries to ult away, but it will not be enough. Wheelie's going to jump over the wall. Leggy's going to be able to pick up that kill here. We're going to be a flash on. No Idea trying to finish that one off. One more auto will do it. No Idea takes him down. Wheelie's going to try to run away, but the Coop does not want to see No Idea get away. Going to use that show stopper. Going to try to flip him around. Going to try to take him out. That's going to go down. Quinn picks up their 5th kill, and a bloody 2 for 2 in the long run of that one. But I would give a slight edge because of the shutdown bonuses to Casually Reform.
Yeah, and I like that play from Casually Reform, finally using the Shen ulti, finally looking for that proactive play here. And the late TP from the Coop means they do manage to secure a couple extra kills down by the bot Tribush as well, that maybe they wouldn't have if he had TP'd to that ward near the chickens there earlier in the fight. And going back to before the fight here, this Infernal Soul that's just spawned on the map is exactly what you don't want to see if you're Casually Reformed, because Infernal Soul, with the extra burst it gives, kind of gives some agency to these tanks that Scaling has picked. Now they're not just these beefcakes that you can ignore towards the late game with that comp. They can and will go onto you and potentially even kill you.
And it's funny,
so if they get it.
Like their comp is one of those things. Like if we had the ability to know which soul it was, we'd be like, oh yeah, for sure go for this kind of a comp because you will get the damage. Like this would have been a perfect draft if we somehow already knew what the soul was, and like, hey, they just got basically one of the best souls for them. It gives them the damage that will match any of the scaling damage from the other team, and like you said, their tanks will have the agency to do that damage, and we're still staring at a 5-0 Sejuani.
Yep. And one thing to note here as well, the Coop blowing his TP last fight means that there now is a discrepancy in the top lane here. If Casually Reformed want to go for any other plays in the next few minutes, they could potentially look for a 5v4.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing that's leading to basically this 3,500 gold lead right now that is being enjoyed by Scaling is that they're also just farming well across the board, with the exception of their jungler who like has 5 kills. So you can be behind 7 CS on the enemy jungler, that's fine. Everyone else has just got their CS leads, and they're just snowballing over here. And here comes Alex there to get a jump over on top of Sean. Will be taken out by Leggy. The next target will be Wheelie. Can they take him out? They're going for the dive. Quinn can tank so much of it. Alex is trying to come in, but here comes Jade to come help out, but here comes Pukelord to try to help out their team. They're going to take down Wheeling now. You're going to get taken out because they're going to be able to take you down. Double kill comes for Pukelord, and Royal now is trying to trade that. They will at least get one. No Idea came down here via their ultimate, and another bloody fight leads to a 2-for-1 in favor of Scaling.
And at least you get one back with the TP from the Shen, but he does end up having to give his turret over as well. And this is just Scaling pushing their advantage in the mid game, just like we said before this game started. They spike towards this mid game. They're going to look to be ending this out before the Vayne and the Azir can come online. And that's a great play right there if you want to be doing that.
Yeah, it's perfect. This is exactly kind of what you want to see out of this team when they basically pick this composition that we, again, admitted we thought it was a little bit awkward, but again, in other teams' hands, I might have been like, boom, you lost in draft. But the execution right now from Scaling is just perfection.
It is. And this next Drake coming up within the next few minutes here, it's Scaling, obviously now with the pressure, with the lead that they have, can look to be getting the vision control soon. Hopefully they can sweep these wards that Sean has just placed down towards their jungle here. Right, and this is
right here we're seeing what I kind of want to see teams do more. Right at about the minute mark, if you don't already have the vision on towards that dragon, it's almost just like a waste of your time to go and really like fight for that or get on there that you haven't already set up. So they go and do another objective. They grab this Rift Herald, which if they just drop it now, they're going to be able to use that to their advantage to give themselves priority for this dragon anyway, where they didn't even have vision on it. But we're going to see a fight break here. Exactly, a little bit of ARAM. Sean does hit the death sentence, but does not mean anyone goes down. They're going to be able to back up from here. And now, again, now they're able to afford the vision over here because they can kind of just push over towards this because, again, they do just have the gold lead as well. That also helps.
Yep, and it's Casually Reformed. They can't really come in and face check any of this either, really. You do have the engage from Alex 30 that could come back. The Scaling is full of engaged champions. Oh.
Nice death sentence hits what again? They're trying to jump in for the steal. It will not happen. Royal actually accidentally jumps themselves over the wall. Is going to be a force that just flashback out. Going down is Jade over there, who is trying to go for the steal, try to make something happen because they're now down 3 dragons and got a lot of pressure on them.
And No Idea just hopefully looking to get a little bit of damage on this top turret here in Retribution, trying to get anything he can as this game looks to be spiraling out of control almost for Casually Reformed here.
And here we go. And there's that Rift Herald that told you that they went and got and taken. Just smart stuff. Here comes a big engage coming on top of that. Alex Dirty will secure that kill. Wheelie is trying to flash away. They will just turn their attention to Sean now, who gets almost blown up here. Will use that stasis to survive a moment here. Flashes away. At least a decent job to live through all of that. But there goes your inhibitor turret. Shelly's going to get an additional hit on the actual inhibitor itself, and they'll actually leave this up. And I actually want to note, this is definitely intentional. The weird thing about being really far ahead and getting the middle inhibitor is you actually just feed experience to the enemy team to help them come back. They're leaving the inhibitor up on purpose so that they don't just just feed you experience to give you your comeback, because they can just go take this later when they have a better advantage even.
Because before, I believe, I don't remember, it's 2022, somewhere around there, cannon minions will start to spawn with every single wave, but as of right now, they currently don't. And if you take the inhibitor, these super minions will begin spawning with each and every wave, giving them extra gold that they wouldn't otherwise have on the map as well.
Yeah,
and
so
that is why you'd leave it up.
Yeah, exactly. So again, just like every box right now is being checked by scaling, and they're not leaving really anything behind. They're not just skill checking their opponents. They're out macroing them. They're doing everything they need to do right here, and that's why, like I said, I just have a lot of faith in this team. Even if, again, one more time, I'll try not to overemphasize this. We do think they quote unquote lost draft, but they're just playing like the better team.
And that last fight is one of those indicative tipping points in this game. That's what I like to call the disrespect engage. When you have this 9K gold lead, you see 3 people under their turret, you don't care about the turret. You just go in, you win the fight anyway. And when you reach that point, it's a scary feeling if you're casually reformed.
Yeah. And the other part is, too, like, they just know how to play this composition. As much as, like, we can meme out as we want, we can say, where's the damage coming from? They just know how to play this, and they knew they had to make the plays early, and they weren't hesitant to make them. So they're just playing a really, really clean game for this level of players. Like, to be honest, like, again, they're like platinum-ish players, and I know they're playing against like a goldish team, but it's still this level of execution that you don't often see at this level, and it's really nice to watch.
Oh, a miss there.
Yeah, able to kind of narrowly avoid that. And they're going to send 3 members over here towards the bot lane while everyone else kind of basically is going to push in those other lanes. Again, checking those boxes, making sure they push in their lanes first before they make the next move, because they got control of this game right now, and they just got to keep pushing it.
And yeah, there's no avenue on the map for Cash Reform to move up. They can't move up on bot side because scaling, of course, they're moving as a unit. They have this Galio, and they can't go top side because the Shen is always pushed in by the set. Although,
yeah.
you see here, it's a little skirmish.
Yeah, they're fighting over here. No Idea's got a good advantage over there right now, but they're going to push him right out towards the wall. No Idea's going to force the dash away. Just not going to be able to fight him right now. Does have like a 20 CS lead, gold, a lot of gold ahead of you right now.
And yeah, this just shows the Coop is very far ahead of No Idea. In order to take on the Coop, you have to send more members towards the top side, thereby giving up stuff on the bot side. But you either way, you go to match one side, you lose something on the other side if you want to take control of a side of the map.
Mm-hmm. And the big advantage they have too is that the Puke Lord doesn't have to be with the rest of the team in the bot lane. He could push in that mid, and he could ult in anytime he needs to. And so far, like, yeah, you haven't seen Casually Reformed engage on that because they probably know that too. They know if they engage, they're going to be suddenly faced with a uneven situation when Puke Lord comes down with the ultimate. So Sean is going to hit another death sentence onto Quinn, who's the most fed member of their team. So it's not really going to matter that much. They're going to continue the siege, and eventually this tower is going to go down.
Yeah, and it's just a slow bleed out right now. Just waiting for this next Infernal Drake to spawn. Perhaps that might be, if you squint hard enough, Casually Reforms window back into the game, the fight for the soul. This kind of, when they back up, takes the pressure away from the lanes a little bit. Maybe they go for the fight at the dragon. Maybe there's a chance they win it.
Mm-hmm.
But as of right now, they're just bleeding. They're just dying on the floor.
Yeah. Kind of the funny thing is, I don't even think you can go for the soul if you're on the Casually Reformed side. You almost want to see if you give up soul and not lose too many resources after that happens, and then YOLO for the Elder Drake. Like, that's kind of your really, really slim win condition to me right now. Because if you go to try to fight for the soul, you're just going to give them more gold, and then they can just do whatever they want with it. But you kind of have to give it up. You just lost it.
But the huge problem with Infernal Soul is the soul you want if you're
Yeah.
in siege mode. Infernal Soul just makes sieges so much harder to
Yep.
survive through.
We're seeing a pretty big fight over here. They just got some damage onto Alex Dirty, but just it's not enough because they're simply behind. Here comes the Puke Lord to try to taunt someone up here. Sean almost goes down. Narrowly is going to escape from that. Shen currently just sitting at base, unfortunately, does have ultimate available, but they're not trying to come in. And yeah, they all got so low. They're just going to have to back up. Again, they had a pretty good engage onto Alex Dirty, but they're pretty far behind here. Meanwhile, Coop's going to use the showstopper to bring Jade right back in closer towards them. Puke Lord is going to be there. They're going to continue to zone the out. They do finish off that that Infernal Drake to get the soul. Jade is going to go down because now all of a sudden Quinn does a bunch of damage and is going to take you out 6-0-6 right there on the Sejuani, and just having a pop-off performance.
Oh, and this kind of hurts me a little bit looking at this, the way they use this Shen in these fights. You get the nice engage on Alex Dirty, right? You want to start the fight right then. You want to take control, but maybe get the pick right before the fight starts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you want to send the Shen there to make the fight as good as possible from the start.
Mm-hmm.
But by waiting for No Idea to back, reset to the fountain, and waiting for scaling to turn the fight, and then using the Shen defensively, they no longer have the upper hand regardless of whether they use the Shen ulti or not.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have a lot more value used proactively than defensively most of the times in almost any situation you're playing Shen.
Yeah, and that's like what you potentially want, but you're seeing at 1-4, and just like really was focused down in that early game. You have a Titanic Hydra, it don't really have a completed tank item. It's rough. This is a Baron. I don't see a realistic way this is being contested. And again, if they continue to check all their boxes, this is going to be Scaling's game. But we'll see if they're going to be able to hold us off. Sejuani ult does narrowly miss onto No Idea, but they're just going to flash and get that. Going Alex Dirty is trying to them up. No Idea is just trying to walk away, but will not be able to. Leggy will pick up that kill. Coop will pick up another one. And now they turn their attention onto the tier 2 top lane turret.
And you imagine this is just going to be top lane completely opened up. They cannot defend these turrets at all. Maybe even potentially they could... No, I don't think they can end here. Death timers may be a little bit too short.
Yeah, ending would be a little bit overzealous, but now they can take this, and now that open middle inhibitor, they can feel free to take that since they also have this top one too as well. You're not afraid of feeding them experience at this point in the game because you're just so far ahead that you just want to continue putting on this pressure. You take out this turret, you can back up, reset, buy some new items, and then finish off that third one.
And there we go. They're just going to take both those inhibs and back out. Maybe head towards the bot side, finish off this last inhib. And for the side of Casually Reformed, I think this is just where you say goodbye here. One of the big things is, even if they do pick off a member of Scaling, everyone on Scaling is fed.
Yeah.
Set, Sejuani, Galio, Zion,
Yeah,
all
like,
ahead.
Yeah, we see it. Like Sean hits another death sentence, but it doesn't mean anything. Like that the hit percentage on that hook is real high, but they're just so far behind here that they can't really do a whole lot here. Like maybe they got a YOLO go for this fight because there's nothing left, and that's exactly what they're gonna do. They're gonna try to jump on there, try to get wombo combos going on, but double kill starts off for Leggy. They're gonna pick up a third. It's gonna be followed by Coop picking up one for themselves. Alex Dirty will finish off the last one. It'll be an ace, and this is gonna be a game 1 win for Scaling.
I blinked and they're gone. Oh boy, making this comp work. Very nice to see. I love seeing this game right here.
Yeah, well, that's a rip to that first game, but we still got another couple. It is a best of 3, so we're going to throw it over to the Red Bull analyst desk, see what they think about game 1 and what adjustments need to be made for game 2 to get Casually Reformed back in this game. Take it over, desk.